When life breaks you, you have two choices: stay broken or build stronger. Every one of us will face a moment when life hits us so hard we can barely breathe. Maybe you lose someone you love. Maybe you fail at something you gave your soul to. Maybe everything you planned just falls apart. That's when the real test begins. Not when life is good, not when everything is working, or when everything is falling apart. I need you to understand something. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. The world has convinced you that struggle means you're doing something wrong. But I came to tell you the truth. Struggle means you're growing. Every time life breaks you, it's giving you the chance to rebuild the parts of you that were weak. It's giving you a chance to become unbreakable. See, when life breaks you, you find out what's inside you. You can't fake strength when you're shattered. You can't pretend to be focused when your world is falling apart. That's when you find out who you really are. And I want you to hear me. Stronger than you think you are. Some of you are crying right now wondering why life had to go this way. You're asking, oh, why me? But I want you to change that question. Stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? Because the answer to a what now is what's going to build your future. Life might have broken your plans, but it didn't break your purpose. You got to stop waiting for easy. Life doesn't owe you comfort. It owes you the opportunity to rise. You can't grow if you don't go through it. The pain you're feeling today is the power you'll use tomorrow. You got to learn how to take the hits and keep moving. You got to learn how to stand when everything inside you is telling you to quit. When life breaks you, don't run, rebuild. Don't hide, heal. Don't surrender, stand up. The storm will pass, but who you become in the storm will stay forever. The pain will fade, but the strength you gain will last a lifetime. You don't get diamonds without pressure. You don't get strength without struggle. You don't get purpose without pain. So if life is broken you, I need you to look at those broken pieces and say, this is where I begin again. Because greatness is not found in perfection. It's found in the comeback. So stand tall, wipe your tears. Take that pain and turn it into power. Because when life breaks you, it's not the end. It's the beginning of the strongest version of you. When life breaks you and you feel like there's nothing left to give, that's when you start to see the truth about who you really are. Brokenness has a way of stripping away the fake confidence, the smiles you wear for others, and the mask you hide behind. It removes the layers of comfort, the illusion of control, and exposes the core of your soul. And that's where your strength lives. Not in what you show the world, but in what you survive when the world can't see your fight. Brokenness doesn't destroy you, it reveals you. It's in the moments when your heart is shattered, your dreams are crushed, and your spirit is tired, that you begin to realize just how strong you truly are. You start to see that strength isn't built in the easy seasons of life. It's forged in the dark ones. When everything is smooth, when life is giving you blessings and comfort, you don't question yourself. You don't push beyond your limits. You live within them. But when life breaks you, when the people you counted on walk away, when the door you prayed for closes, when everything you believed in falls apart, that's when you see what's really inside you. You find out whether you were living off motivation or commitment, whether you were driven by circumstances or by purpose. See, real strength isn't about how loud you can talk when life is good. It's about how hard you can fight when life gets silent, when the applause stops, when no one's watching. Brokenness brings you to that place where you can no longer pretend, and that's where your real growth begins. There's something powerful that happens when you hit rock bottom, when you have nothing left but faith, when your strength is gone and your back is against the wall. That's when your spirit wakes up. You stop relying on what's outside of you and start pulling from what's inside. You begin to understand that your power was never in the situation. It was always in you. You were built to endure and to stand through the storm, to rebuild after every fall. The problem is most people never reach that level of strength because they quit the moment they start to break. They see pain as a signal to stop, when in truth, it's a signal to start digging deeper, to start fighting harder, to start believing stronger. Brokenness exposes the weakness, not to embarrass you, but to strengthen you. Think about it. You can't fix what you don't see. Life has to break you sometimes to show you where you've been fragile, where you've depended on things that were never meant to hold you up. Maybe it's people, maybe it's comfort, maybe it's fear. When those things fall apart, It's not punishment, it's revelation. It's life saying, I'm gonna show you what you're really made of. Because the truth is, you don't know how strong your foundation is until it's been shaken. You don't know how powerful your faith is until it's been tested. You don't know how far you can go until you've been knocked down and still got back up. See, you can't fake strength and brokenness. When you're at the bottom, the real you shows up. That's when you find out if you're a fighter or a quitter. And listen, being broken doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been chosen to grow. Brokenness is not a curse. It's a calling. Life breaks the ones it intends to rebuild stronger. It's in those seasons that you develop emotional endurance, spiritual muscles, mental toughness, things that success can never teach you. You learn how to keep moving when you don't have motivation. You learn how to believe in yourself when no one else does. You learn how to keep your faith alive, even when everything you see looks like failure. That's strength, not the kind you talk about, but the kind you live through. And here's the truth. Brokenness humbles you. It removes the arrogance that comes from thinking you got everything under control. It reminds you that you're human, that you bleed, that you hurt, that you need help. But it also reminds you that you can survive what should have destroyed you. That's power. Because when you've been broken and you're still here, still breathing, still pushing, it means you've already defeated what was meant to destroy you. Every scar becomes proof that you made it. Every tear becomes a seed of strength. Every disappointment becomes a reminder that your story isn't over. Some of you are going through that right now. You're tired. You're broken. You're trying to keep it together and you feel like you're losing everything. But I need you to hear me. You are not losing. You are not losing. You are learning. You are not failing. You are forming. Life is shaping you into someone unshakable. You're being refined in fire because gold only shines after the heat. And maybe it hurts right now. Maybe it feels unfair. But one day you're going to look back and realize that every moment of brokenness was building something inside you that success never could. When life breaks you, don't run from the pain. Sit with it. Will it? Let it do its work. Because pain that you don't face becomes power that you never find. You can't heal what you hide from. Let your tears fall, but don't let them drown you. Let them water your roots. Let them remind you that you're still alive. You still have fight left in you. Brokenness will teach you how to bend without breaking completely, how to cry and still move forward, how to feel fear, but still act with faith. And when you finally rise from that broken place, you'll realize something. The person who went through it is not the same as the person who came out. You're stronger now, wiser now, tougher now. You're not moved by the same things that used to scare you. You're not shaken by the same storms. You've been through too much to go back to being fragile. You've been broken. But in that breaking, you became unbreakable. That's why brokenness is so sacred. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be grateful for. It's proof that you're evolving. Proof that you're capable of rising beyond the pain. Life breaks everyone at some point, but those who choose to rebuild themselves differently become unstoppable. They become leaders, warriors, survivors. The ones who can stand tall and say, yes, life broke me, but it didn't beat me. So if you're in that season right now, don't give up. Don't you dare quit. Don't you believe that this is the end. It's just the breaking point before the breakthrough. It's the storm before your sunshine. It's the test before your testimony. You've got more inside you than you realize. You're stronger than what tried to hurt you. You've survived 100% of your worst days. And that means you have everything it takes to survive this one too. Remember, brokenness doesn't define your weakness. It defines your depth. Shows the world that even when you're cracked, you still shine. You still love. You still fight. That's real strength, not perfection, not pretending, but persistence. When life breaks you, let it reveal the warrior within. Let it uncover the version of you that doesn't quit, that doesn't back down, that doesn't let pain have the final word. Because the moment you realize that brokenness was never your end, that's the moment you become unstoppable. There comes a time in life when the weight feels unbearable, when you're tired of fighting, tired of hoping, tired of being strong. You find yourself asking, why me? Why did I have to go through this pain? Why did things fall apart? Why can't life be fair to me just once? That question is born out of frustration, confusion, and exhaustion. It's the question that echoes when your plans collapse, when when your heart breaks, when your dreams get delayed again. But the truth is, that question keeps you trapped. Why me? Keeps you focused on what you lost instead of what you can become. The moment you stop asking a why me and start asking a what now, that's the moment your comeback begins. Because a why keeps you in the past, but a what now moves you into purpose. When you say a why me, you're trying to make sense of your pain, but life doesn't always give explanations. Some things you go through aren't meant to be understood right away. They're meant to grow you. Every challenge, every disappointment, every heartbreak carries something inside it. A lesson, a seed, a push that forces you to become stronger. But as long as you sit and why, you can't see the opportunity in a what now. You why me makes you a victim of life, but what now turns you into the author of your future. It's the mindset shift that transforms pain into power. When you start asking a what now, you start taking responsibility for how you respond. You stop waiting for someone to fix it, for life to get easier, for things to go back to how they were. You begin to realize that healing isn't about going back, it's about moving forward differently. Maybe you can't change what happened. You can decide what happens next. That's where your strength lives. Not in control over your past, but in courage for your future. Life will never stop throwing challenges your way. People will hurt you. Opportunities will slip away. Things won't go as planned. That's just the reality of the human experience. But what separates the weak from the strong, the ordinary from the extraordinary, is how you respond. Some people spend their whole lives asking why me. They stay stuck in blame, bitterness, and regret. Others look at the same situation and say, all right, this happened. What now? What can I do with what I have left? And those are the ones who rise. Those are the ones who rebuild something better than what was lost. Asking them what now doesn't mean you ignore the pain. It means you face it, accept it, and still tends to move forward. It means you acknowledge that what happened hurt, but it won't define you. You can cry, you can feel broken, you can take time to heal. But when the time comes, you look that pain in the face and say, okay, now what can I learn? What can I do? How can I do? How can I grow from this? That's power. That's maturity. That's how you take back control of your life. The truth is, life doesn't respond to pity. It responds to persistence. You can't cry your way to change. You can't complain your way to success. And you can't wish your pain away. You have to work through it. You have to dig deep and find meaning in the mess. Every setback is an invitation to evolve. Every heartbreak is an opening for strength. Every failure is a foundation for wisdom. But you'll never see those gifts if you keep asking why me. The better question is, what's this trying to teach me? What is this pushing me toward? What kind of person is this shaping me into? Think about every great person you admire. Athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, fighters, survivors, every one of them has a story of struggle. But none of them became great by sitting in a why me. They all had, wait now moment. A moment when they realized life wasn't going to hand them happiness. They had to create it. They had to rise from the ashes, learn from the pain, and move with purpose. What now is where resilience is born. It's where champions are made. When you ask what now, you activate your creativity. You stop focusing on what's gone and start focusing on what's possible. You begin to see that even though something broke, you can build something new, maybe even better. You realize that pain doesn't mean punishment. It means preparation. Life was never about avoiding the storm. It was about learning to navigate through it. Every obstacle you face is shaping your character for something greater ahead. What now teaches you to adapt, to find a way even when the path disappears. Sometimes the reason we get stuck in the why me is because we expected life to go according to our plan. But growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from disruption. If everything always went your way, you never learned patience, strength, faith, or humility. The pain you feel today might be preparing you for something that will bless you tomorrow. But you'll never discover that if you don't shift your focus forward. Why me closes your eyes. What now opens them? It gives you the clarity to see possibilities in places you never looked before. When life knocks you down, when people betray you, when your dreams fall apart, remember this, you still have control over your next move. Maybe you can't control what broke you, but you control how you respond. You can rebuild differently. You can rise smarter. You can love deeper. You can come back stronger. The moment you decide to take that step, no matter how small, you reclaim your power. You go from powerless to purposeful. And here's something powerful. The world doesn't change when you get what you want. The world changes when you grow through what you didn't want. When you learn to transform disappointment into direction, loss into lesson, pain into purpose, that's when you start to live with meaning. That's when you stop being defined by what hurt you and start being defined by how you heal. Oh, what now is the bridge from your pain to your potential. So the next time life hits you hard, pause and breathe. Instead of crying out, "Oh, why me?" say to yourself, "Oh, what now?" Say, "I might not understand it yet, but I'm not going to waste this pain. I'm going to waste this. I'm going to grow from it. I'm going to turn it into something powerful." Because every time you shift your question, you shift your life. What now builds resilience? Because it forces you to act. It demands movement. It tells you that even in chaos, you can create order. Even in loss, you can find direction. Even in failure, you can discover strength. It's not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond. And that response begins with one simple question. Oh, what now? What questionship ended? What now? Maybe your relationship ended. What now? Maybe your business failed. What now? Maybe you lost someone you loved. What now? Maybe you feel like giving up. What now? Every what now is an opportunity to rebuild, to redirect, to redefine your purpose. It's life's way of saying, "I'm not done with you yet." You might not see it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that the moment you stopped asking, "Why me?" and started asking, "What now?" was the turning point of your life. It was the moment you took your power back. It was the moment you stopped being the victim of your story and became the hero of it, because life will always test you. It will break your plans, shake your confidence, and stretch your limits. But it can never destroy your spirit unless you let it. The choice will always be yours. Stay stuck in the past or step into your future. Stay bitter or become better. Keep asking a why or start building your now. So if you're broken right now, if life has hit you harder than you ever expected, I want you to stop for a second and ask yourself, what now? What can I do today to move 1 inch forward? What can I learn from this pain? What can I learn from this pain? What can I build from this moment? Because that question is where your healing begins. That's where your transformation starts. And that's where you'll discover that no matter how hard life tried to break you, you were built to rise. Life doesn't owe you easy. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. We live in a world that teaches comfort over courage, shortcuts over sacrifice, and convenience over consistency. But greatness doesn't grow in comfort zones. Strength doesn't come from things going your way. It comes from facing what doesn't. Life doesn't promise you an easy road. It promises you opportunities disguised as obstacles. And if you keep expecting life to be fair, soft, and simple, you'll keep getting disappointed, because life doesn't owe you comfort. It owes you the chance to rise. When you understand that life isn't supposed to be easy, everything changes. You stop feeling sorry for yourself. You stop waiting for things to be handed to you. You stop thinking success is supposed to come overnight. You start taking ownership of your grind. You start showing up even when you don't feel like it. You start realizing that everything you want, success, peace, purpose, strength, it's all on the other side of struggle. The moment you accept that, your life begins to transform, because now you stop running from pain and start learning from it. You stop avoiding challenges and start using them as fuel. Every person who's ever achieved greatness, every champion, every leader, every survivor, they all share one thing in common. They went through difficulty and they didn't quit. They faced storms, setbacks, failures, and heartbreaks. They were rejected, misunderstood, and doubted. Instead of asking for life to get easier, they got stronger. They stopped asking for less struggle and started developing more resilience. That's the mindset that separates those who win from those who win. You have to stop thinking life is supposed to cater to your comfort. Life is not your servant, it's your sculptor. It shapes you through pressure, chisels you through trials, and refines you through struggle. You can't become strong if you've never been tested. You can't become wise if you've never been humble. You can't become great if you've never been challenged. Life will never give you the easy path, because the easy path produces weak people. The hard road produces warriors. There will be days when you wake up tired, when your dreams feel far away, when it feels like you're giving everything but getting nothing back. That's when most people quit. They say, oh, this isn't fair. But fairness doesn't create greatness. Fight does. Life doesn't care about your excuses. It responds to your effort. You can cry, you can hurt, you can feel lost. But if you keep showing up, life will reward your persistence. It might not happen when you want, but it will happen when you've earned it. Will happen when you've earned it. The truth is, easy never taught you anything. Think about it. You don't grow when everything's comfortable. You grow when life forces you to stretch, to think differently, to push harder, to trust deeper. Every challenge is life's way of asking, how bad you really want it? Because if you want success, if you want freedom, if you want purpose, you've got to be willing to endure what comes with it. There's no progress without pressure, no crown without a cross, no glory without grind. You see, people talk about wanting success, but the moment life gets tough, they fold. They want the reward, but not the responsibility. They want the victory, but not the battle. They want the growth, but not the grind. But that's not how it works. You can't skip the process. You can't fast forward through pain. Life doesn't owe you comfort just because you want greatness. It owes you the opportunity to prove you deserve it. Every time you face something hard, life is testing your commitment. It's asking, or will you keep going when it's not easy? Because if you only work hard when you feel good, you'll never get anywhere. Discipline means doing it whether you feel like it or not. Strength means showing up even when you're scared. Resilience means standing tall even when you're bleeding inside. Life doesn't reward wishers, it rewards workers. And the workers are the ones who accept the hard truth that life is tough, but so are they. When you stop expecting easy, you stop being surprised by hardship. You start preparing for it. You start embracing it. You start seeing difficulty not as a wall, but as a doorway. You stop seeing failure as a reason to quit and start seeing it as feedback. Because failure isn't final, it's just part of the process. Every setback is setting you up for something bigger. But you'll never see that if you're stuck in the mindset that life owes you smooth roads. The greatest lesson life can teach you is that pain has a purpose. Every sleepless night, every rejection, every disappointment, it's all building something inside you that comfort never could. Comfort keeps you soft. Struggle makes you sharp. Comfort keeps you average. Struggle makes you exceptional. That's why life doesn't give you easy, because easy doesn't create anything worth having. Stop saying, I can't take this. You can. You've already taken more than you thought you couldn't survive. Stop saying, it's too hard. Of course it's hard. That's how it's supposed to be. Growth hurts. Change hurts. But staying stuck hurts more. You've got to decide which kind of pain you're willing to live with. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Life will hand you both options, but only one will lead you to greatness. And here's the truth. The people who succeed don't have easier lives. They have stronger minds. They've accepted that pain is part of the process. They've learned to push through the days when they don't feel motivated. They've stopped waiting for the right conditions and started creating them. You don't have to like the struggle, but you have to respect it. Because the struggle is the birthplace of every breakthrough you'll ever experience. Think about a diamond. It's formed under extreme pressure. Think about gold. It's purified in fire. Think about muscles. They grow only when they're torn and rebuilt. Everything valuable is produced through discomfort. So why do you think you should be any different? Why do you expect greatness without grind? You can't become what you're meant to be if you keep running from what's hard. Life doesn't owe you a handout, but it gives you a chance every single day. A chance to fight for what matters. A chance to show up stronger than your excuses. A chance to rewrite your story. But you gotta be willing to earn it. You gotta put in the work even when no one's watching, even when you're tired, even when it hurts. That's what separates dreamers from doers. Stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, the perfect mood. The perfect moment doesn't exist. You have to move now in the middle of the mess, in the middle of pain, in the middle of the chaos. That's where real warriors are made. That's where resilience is born. You don't need easy. You need purpose. You don't need comfort. You need courage. You don't need guarantees. You need grit. One day when you look back, you realize that the moments that felt unbearable were the ones that built you. The days that tested you the most were the ones that transformed you. The challenges that made you cry were the ones that made you capable. You'll understand that life was never against you. It was growing you. Every mountain you climbed, every storm you survived, every tear you shed, they were all preparing you for the life you were meant to live. So stop asking life to be easier. Ask yourself to be stronger. Stop waiting for things to change. Change yourself. Stop wishing for comfort. Start working for character. Because once you realize life doesn't owe you easy, you'll stop expecting it and start earning everything you desire. Life is not about avoiding the fight. It's about learning to win it. It's about embracing the struggle, respecting the process, and trusting that the pain is producing something powerful in you. You're not here to coast. You're here to conquer. You're not here to settle. You're here to rise. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll step into your true potential. Life doesn't owe you easy, but it gives you everything you need to be extraordinary. You've got heart, you got mind, you got spirit. That's all you need. The rest, you build brick by brick, day by day, step by step. Because the world doesn't remember those who had it easy. It remembers those who kept going when it wasn't. When life hits hard and everything seems to fall apart, most people run from the pain. They escape through distractions, hide behind excuses, or give up on themselves entirely. But that's not how warriors are made. If you want to rise above what broke you, you have to face it head on. You have to learn to rebuild, not retreat. You have to take the pain that tried to destroy you and use it as the foundation for your new strength. Because rebuilding is not a sign of weakness. It's proof of courage. It's easy to run away, but it takes real power to stay, to stand, and to rebuild your life piece by piece when everything feels shattered. When life breaks you, the first instinct is to hide. You feel embarrassed by failure, ashamed of mistakes, or afraid of judgment. But what you don't realize is that those broken moments are sacred. They're the place where transformation begins. Brokenness is not the end of your story, it's the birthplace of your comeback. Every time something in your life falls apart, it's an invitation to rebuild it differently. It's an opportunity to let go of what wasn't serving you, to create a stronger, wiser, and more authentic version of yourself. Pain is not a signal to stop. It's a signal to start rebuilding. When you lose something important, whether it's a relationship, a dream, or a sense of direction, it feels like the end. But in truth, it's a new beginning disguised as loss. Rebuilding doesn't mean pretending it didn't hurt. It means taking that hurt and turning it into wisdom. It means asking yourself, oh, what can I learn from this? How can I rise from this? Because the truth is, nothing is wasted when you decide to rebuild. The tears, the sleepless nights, the heartbreak, all of it becomes raw material for your strength. You can't rebuild overnight. It's not an instant process, a journey. There will be days when it feels like you're not making progress, when everything you try fails, when the weight of it all makes you want to quit. But that's part of the rebuilding process. You have to remember that great things are built slowly. You can't rush healing. You can't force transformation. You have to be patient with yourself while you're putting the pieces back together, brick by brick. Day by day, you'll start to see something beautiful forming from the ruins. Sometimes you'll look at what's left and think, I'll never get back to where I was. And you're right, because you're not supposed to. You're not rebuilding to become who you were. You're rebuilding to become who you're meant to become, who you're meant to be. The version of you that's coming is wiser, stronger, and more unshakable than the one who was broken. The pain didn't destroy you. It refined you. It stripped away the unnecessary and revealed the truth of who you are. That's the gift of rebuilding. It gives you a second chance to become your most authentic self. When you rebuild, you have to stop looking back. The past is gone. It served its purpose. You can't rebuild a future while living in yesterday. Stop replaying what hurt you. Stop analyzing what could have been. Instead, take that same energy and use it to create something new. Every time you choose to look forward, you take power away from the pain. Every time you decide to start again, you prove that you're stronger than what tried to break you. Rebuilding requires faith, not in others, not even circumstances, but in yourself. You have to believe that you can rise again, even when everything inside you says you can't. You have to trust that your efforts will lead somewhere even when you can't see the results yet. Faith is the fuel that keeps you moving when the evidence doesn't support you. And that's what rebuilding is. Moving forward in faith, One step at a time, even when you don't know how it's all going to work out. You have to rebuild your mindset before you rebuild your life. No, because the real battle doesn't start outside. It starts inside. Your thoughts determine whether you give up or grow. If you keep thinking it's over, you'll stay stuck in the ruins. But if you start saying, I can rebuild, everything begins to shift, you start seeing possibilities where you used to see pain. You start noticing opportunity hid inside the chaos. Rebuilding begins the moment you change how you think about what happened to you. Some people will not understand your rebuilding season. They'll think you're wasting time, or they'll doubt your comeback. But don't let their opinions distract you. They didn't feel your pain. They don't understand your process. You don't owe anyone an explanation for how you heal. Rebuilding is personal. It's between you and your purpose. You're not rebuilding to prove anything to them. You're rebuilding to reclaim your peace, your joy, and your power. Rebuilding means choosing progress over perfection. It means accepting that some days will be messy, that some steps will be small, and that not every moment will feel like victory. But you keep moving anyway. You celebrate the little wins, the morning you got out of bed when you didn't want to, the moment you smiled again after weeks of pain, the day you started believing in yourself again. Those small victories are the building blocks of a new life. They might seem small, but they're signs that you're growing, healing, and becoming whole again. The process of rebuilding is also about forgiveness. You can't build a new foundation on bitterness foundation. Then in this, you have to let go of the resentment. Not for them, but for you. Forgive those who hurt you. Forgive yourself for the mistakes you made. And forgive life for not going the way you planned. Forgiveness clears the ground for rebuilding. It frees you from the past and makes space for new possibilities. Holding on to pain is like holding on to rubble. You can't build with broken pieces until you clear them away. Rebuilding also takes discipline. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you building when motivation fades. There will be mornings when you don't feel like trying again, when you rather stay broken because it's easier than rebuilding. But that's when you have to remind yourself why you started. Discipline means showing up even when it hurts, even when it's lonely, even when no one believes in you. Because the only way to rebuild is to keep going, even when it's hard. And don't forget, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. You've been through the fire and you've survived. That means you already have the strength, the knowledge, and the resilience to do it again. The lessons you learn from your pain are the tools you'll use to rebuild your future. You're not the same person who was broken. You're wiser now. You've seen what can break you, and that means you also know what can't. When you rebuild, don't just focus on putting things back together. Focus on building something better. Build boundaries where there used to be brokenness. Build peace where there used to be pain. Build discipline where there used to be distraction. Build self-worth. There used to be self-doubt. Every brick you lay should represent growth. Don't rush the process. Just stay consistent, because eventually, what once looked like ruins will become a masterpiece of resilience. One day, you'll look back and realize that rebuilding was the best thing that ever happened to you. You'll see that the version of you that was broken could never have carried the blessings you have now. You'll realize that the pain that once made you question everything actually prepared you for everything you were meant to receive. You'll understand that every tear watered your strength. Every setback trained your patience. Every heartbreak expanded your capacity to love. So don't run from the pain. Rebuild from it. Don't hide from the ashes. Rise from them. Don't surrender to the storm. Rebuild after it. Because rebuilding isn't about returning to who you were. It's about becoming who you were meant to be. Life will break you, yes, but it will also give you the power to rebuild. And when you do, you'll realize that nothing you lost compares to the strength you gained. You'll walk taller, speak louder, and love deeper. Because once you've rebuilt yourself, no storm can destroy you again. When life breaks you, it's easy to lose sight of who you are. You start questioning everything. Your work, your purpose, your future. The pain gets so deep that you forget the power that still lives inside you. But no matter how shattered you feel, you are never truly broken beyond repair. You are still powerful, still capable, still chosen for something greater. The fire inside you doesn't go out just because the world went dark around you. You have to remember that even in your weakest moment, there's a warrior within you waiting to rise again. That inner strength doesn't disappear. It's just buried under pain, waiting for you to uncover it again. When everything around you falls apart, your instinct might be to believe that you're not strong enough. But think about it, you've already survived what you thought would destroy you. You've endured nights of tears, days of silence, and moments of fear, yet you're still standing. That means there's something powerful within you, something unbreakable that keeps you going. Everything says you should quit. Life may have knocked you down, but it didn't knock out your spirit. You still have the power to rebuild, to fight back, and to become stronger than before. The problem is most people never tap into that inner strength because they're too focused on the pain. They replay the betrayal, the loss, the failure, and in doing so, they relive it over and over and over again. But strength doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in pain. The very thing that tried to destroy you is the thing that's building your endurance. Every challenge is shaping your character. Every heartbreak is strengthening your heart, and every setback is sharpening your mind. You just have to stop running from your pain and start using it. Pain is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It shows you what needs to change, what needs to grow, and what needs to go. You have to stop telling yourself you're weak just because you feel broken. Feeling pain doesn't mean you failed. It means you've been through something real. It means you cared, you tried, you gave your all. The strongest people are not the ones who never fall. They're the ones who keep getting up, no matter how many times they've been knocked down. Real strength isn't in pretending that everything's fine. It's in admitting that it's hard and still choosing to move forward anyway. That's courage. That's power. That's resilience. You have to remind yourself of who you are before the world told you to doubt it. You have to remember that you've been through storms before and made it out. You've been in dark places and found light again. You've lost things you thought you couldn't live without, yet here you are, still breathing, still fighting, still hoping. That's proof that you are stronger than you think. The world doesn't get to define your power. You do. The pain doesn't get to decide your destiny. You do. The truth is, strength isn't something you find when life is easy. It's something you discover when life forces you to dig deep. When you're down to nothing, that's when you find out who you really are. When you have no one to lean on, you realize that you were your own strength all along. When the world goes silent, you start to hear your inner voice. That whisper that says, you can make it. That's your power talking. That's the warrior within you reminding you that broken doesn't mean defeated. You see, life will test you. It will strip away your comfort, your plans, and sometimes even your confidence. But that's because life is training you for something bigger. You don't build muscles by standing still. You build them through resistance. In the same way, you don't build mental or emotional strength by avoiding challenges. You build it by facing them. Every time you push through pain, you become more powerful. Every time you refuse to give up, you grow tougher. Every time you choose faith over fear, you step closer to your destiny. There will be moments when it feels like you got nothing left to give. You'll be tired, frustrated, and ready to quit. That's when you have to dig deep into your soul and remind yourself why you started. You have to find that spark again. That reason that made you dream in the first place. It might be buried under layers of disappointment, but it's still there. The purpose that was planted in you before the pain hasn't died. It's waiting for you to wake it up. Your inner power is like a flame, sometimes small, sometimes fierce. But no matter how dark it gets, that flame never truly goes out. You just have to protect it, feed it, and believe in it. Speak life into yourself when no one else does. Encourage yourself when no one is watching. Tell yourself, I can do this, even when it feels impossible. Because your words create your reality. If you keep saying you're broken, you'll stay broken. But if you start saying, I'm rising, your spirit will begin to align with that truth. The world will try to convince you that strength means never showing emotion, but that's wrong. Real strength is not about pretending you're unhurt. It's about allowing yourself to feel and still standing tall afterward. It's about crying and then getting back up. It's about acknowledging your pain but refusing to let it define you. You are not your trauma. You are not your mistakes. You are not your losses. You are the warrior who survived them all. You are the fighter who refused to stay down. And when you start tapping into that power, something beautiful happens. You stop waiting for rescue. You stop waiting for someone else to fix you, to validate you, or to save you. You realize that the person you've been waiting for has been you all along. You become your own hero. You stop looking at your pain as punishment, as preparation. You start to understand that everything you went through was designed to awaken your potential. You have to own your power. No one can do that for you. Stop giving people the authority to define your worth. Stop letting your past decide your future. Stop letting failure tell you who you are. You're not what happened to you. You're what you choose to become after it. That's where real strength lies, in your choices. You can choose to stay broken, or you can choose to rebuild. You can choose to surrender to fear, or you can choose to fight for faith. You can choose to live as a victim, or you can rise as a victor. The power is already inside you. It's just waiting for you to activate it. When you start believing in your inner power, everything changes. You start walking differently, speaking differently, thinking differently. You stop seeing obstacles as dead ends and start seeing them as opportunities. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? You develop a different kind of confidence, one that doesn't depend on circumstances, but on conviction. You know who you are, and that's unshakable. The world breaks everyone in some way, but the ones who rise again are those who learn to see their brokenness as a blessing. Because when you've been broken, you stop taking strength for granted. You stop underestimating your own power. You understand that if you survive the worst, you can handle anything. That kind of strength can't be taught. It's forged through fire. It's born in silence, in struggle, in moments when no one is clapping for you, but you keep moving anyway. So when life breaks you, don't just survive, rise. Don't just endure, evolve. Don't let your pain silence you. Let it empower you. Stand tall in the middle of your storm and remind yourself that nothing can destroy what's built inside of you. The same fire that tried to burn you is the one that's refining you. The same pain that tried to bury you is the one that's birthing your purpose. You were never meant to stay broken. You were meant to rise stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. You are powerful beyond what you can see. You got something inside you that's greater than every challenge you face. You have the heart of a fighter, the soul of a survivor, and the mind of a champion. Life may break you down, but it can never break your spirit, not unless you let it. So take a deep breath, rise from the ashes, and step into your strength. Because the world doesn't need a perfect you. It needs the powerful you that's been through the storm and still refuses to give up. When life breaks you, one of the hardest things to do is to trust again. To believe that even though everything has fallen apart, something better can still rise from the ruins. You have to learn to trust the process, even when you don't understand it. You have to keep faith alive, even when the evidence around you doesn't make sense. Because the truth is, faith isn't about seeing what's next. It's about believing that there's a next. It's about holding on when your hands are trembling, about standing firm when everything inside you wants to give up. Faith is that quiet voice in your soul that whispers, keep going. There's more ahead, even when life feels unbearable. The reason most people never recover when life breaks them is that they stop believing there's anything left for them. They look at the wreckage and see an ending, not a beginning. Well, faith allows you to see beyond the pain. It gives you the strength to trust that even though you can't see it right now, there's a purpose in the struggle. Maybe you lost something because it was never meant to stay. Maybe you were broken because you were being rebuilt. Maybe what feels like an ending is just the start of a transformation that will change your life forever. Faith is the bridge between what broke you and what will bless you. You have to understand that faith doesn't remove the pain. It gives you strength to move through it. You're going to cry. You're going to feel lost. You're going to have moments where you question everything. But faith reminds you that feelings aren't facts. Just because you feel like it's over doesn't mean it is. Just because it's hard doesn't mean you're failing. Sometimes the hardest seasons are the ones preparing you for your greatest victories. You just can't quit before the breakthrough. You can't give up before the healing. You have to walk through the fire if you ever want to see what's on the other side. When life breaks you, you start to lose sight of timing. You wonder, when will this end? When will things get better? But faith teaches patience. It teaches you that just because it's delayed doesn't mean it's denied. The process is not punishment, it's preparation. Every moment of waiting, every day of uncertainty, every tear you shed is building something inside you that you'll need for the next chapter. You might not see progress yet, but that doesn't mean nothing's happening. Growth happens underground first, where no one can see it. Seeds don't sprout overnight. They take time, and so does your healing. Sometimes faith means trusting that the pain has a purpose, even if you can't identify it yet. Maybe what you went through was meant to strengthen your empathy, deepen your character, or awaken your purpose. Maybe the heartbreak taught you how to love yourself more. Maybe the loss reminded you to appreciate what really matters. Every experience, good or bad, has something to give you. Faith allows you to believe that even the worst chapter of your story can lead to a beautiful ending if you don't stop reading. When you have faith, you stop needing to control everything. You stop trying to force life to fit your expectation. You begin to understand that some things fall apart so better things can come together. You stop fighting the process and start flowing with it. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? That shift in perspective changes everything. Because faith doesn't mean everything will be easy. It means you'll find peace, even when it's not. It's the anchor that keeps you grounded when the storm rages. But let's be real. Having faith doesn't mean you'll never doubt. There will be nights when you question whether all this effort is worth it. There will be moments when you look at your situation, feel like nothing is changing. That's when faith is tested. True faith doesn't live in comfort. It grows in chaos. It's easy to believe when life is smooth. But real faith is built when you're standing in the dark with no visible way forward. It's in those moments of confusion and fear that your faith has to speak louder than your fear. You have to choose to trust even when you can't trace the outcome. Faith also means trusting yourself again. When life breaks you, you start doubting your own judgment. You blame yourself for what happened. You start believing that you're not capable or deserving of something better. But faith calls you to silence those lies. You have to believe that you are still worthy of love, of healing, of happiness, and of purpose. You have to believe that you can start again and still win. You have to trust that the same power that got you through yesterday will get you tomorrow. Sometimes faith looks like taking small steps. You don't need to see the whole path. You just need to take the next one. Maybe that means getting out of bed today. Maybe it means sending that application, making that call, or forgiving that person. Faith is not about waiting for perfect clarity. It's about moving with conviction, even in uncertainty. It's about saying, I don't know how this will work out, but I believe it will. That belief alone can move mountains. You stop needing validation because you already know your worth. You stop chasing what's not meant for you because you trust what's yours will come. You start finding joy not in the outcome, but in the journey itself. That's when faith transforms from a concept into a lifestyle. It becomes your way of moving through life, calm, centered, and unshakable no matter what comes your way. So when life breaks you, don't lose faith. Even if it feels small, even if all you can manage is a whisper of belief, hold on to it. Because that tiny seed of faith has the power to grow into a tree of strength. Keep believing when it doesn't make sense. Keep trusting when you can't see results. Keep moving when your legs are tired. Because one day, everything you prayed for, cried for, and fought for will start to make sense. You'll look back and realize that faith carried you through the fire without letting you burn. The truth is, you were never walking alone, even when you felt abandoned, even when it seemed like no one understood. Faith was walking beside you, guiding you, protecting you, preparing you. Every setback was a setup. Every delay was divine timing. Every no was a redirection to something better. And when you finally see it all come together, you'll realize that the process was never meant to break you. It was meant to build your faith into something unshakable. So stand tall, even in the storm. Trust the process, even when it's painful. Believe that something beautiful is being created through your brokenness. Because faith doesn't make life easy, it makes you strong. And when you live with that kind of faith, no matter how many times life tries to break you, you'll always rise again, stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than before. When life breaks you, it's easy to think that's the end, that there's nothing left to give, no reason to keep going, no hope of things ever being right again. But what if I told you that those moments of complete devastation are not the end of your story? They're the beginning of a new one. What if being broken wasn't a sign that you failed, but proof that you're human and that you still have a purpose? The truth is, the ending of one chapter is often the beginning of your rebirth. You are not meant to stay down. You are meant to rise. The comeback is always greater than the setback, but you must choose it. You must make the decision that even though life has knocked you down, you will rise again, stronger, wiser, and more powerful than ever. Rising again doesn't happen overnight. It's not a sudden burst of energy or a magical moment of motivation. It's a process, slow, painful, and often lonely. It begins when you take that first small step after being broken. Maybe it's the moment you decide to get out of bed after days of darkness. Maybe it's when you start believing again, even just a little. Maybe it's when you look in the mirror and say, I'm not done yet. Not about pretending the pain didn't happen. It's about deciding that the pain will not control you anymore. You see, life will break everyone at some point. Nobody escapes pain. But the difference between those who stay broken and those who rise again is the decision they make in that broken place. Some people allow the pain to define them. They carry it like a permanent label. Others use it as fuel. They take the same pain that tried to destroy them and use it to create a version of themselves that can't be shaken. You get to decide which one you will be. You can either stay buried in the ashes or use them to build your rebirth. The first step in rising again is acceptance. You have to stop denying what happened. Stop wishing things had gone differently. Stop replaying the moment that broke you. You can't rebuild a new life while clinging to the old one. Acceptance doesn't mean you approve of the pain. It means you're done fighting the reality of it. You acknowledge it, learn from it, and then start moving forward. The faster you stop resisting what is, the faster you can begin creating what will be. The second step is forgiveness. And this one's not easy. You have to forgive others, yes, but most importantly, you have to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for trusting the wrong people, for making mistakes, for not seeing things sooner, for falling apart. You did the best you could with the knowledge and strength you had at the time. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, but it frees you from it. It's like cutting the chains that have been holding you down, allowing you to rise without the weight of bitterness or guilt. Next, you have to rebuild your vision. When life breaks you, it also shatters the image of who you thought you were. You start to doubt your dreams, your abilities, your identity. But rising again means daring to dream again. It means looking beyond what you lost and focusing on what you can still create. You may not have everything you once had, but you still have your potential. You still have your mind, your heart, your strength, and your purpose. And that's enough to start over. Create a new vision for your life. One that reflects who you become through the pain, not who you were before it. When you rise again, you'll notice that not everyone will understand your comeback. Some people will remember you only by your brokenness. They'll expect you to stay small, quiet, and defeated. But you can't live for their approval. You can't let their limited perspective define your future. Rising again requires courage, the kind of courage that ignores the noise of doubt and keeps moving forward even when no one believes in you. Remember, the people who once underestimated you will be the same ones who are amazed by your rise. You also have to understand that rising again doesn't mean you'll never feel pain again. Healing isn't linear. There will be days when you feel unstoppable and others when you feel like falling apart again. That's okay. Growth happens in cycles, not straight lines. The key is to keep showing up for yourself, even on the hard days. Keep reminding yourself why you started. Keep believing that every small effort counts. Every time you choose progress over pity, you rise a little higher. One of the most powerful things that happens when you rise again is that you develop empathy and wisdom only brokenness can teach. You start to see life differently. You stop judging people for their struggles because you've been there. You stop chasing superficial things because you've learned what truly matters. You become more grounded, more real, more compassionate. Pain has a way of stripping away everything. Faith, leaving behind only what's true and lasting. The broken version of you becomes the most beautiful version. Not because you were perfect, but because you survived what tried to destroy you. To rise again, you have to surround yourself with the right energy. You can't heal in the same environment that broke you. That means letting go of toxic people, habits, and mindsets that keep you tied to your past. You need to protect your peace like it's your greatest treasure, because it is. Your peace is the foundation of your comeback. Fill your space with people who inspire you, who speak life into you, who remind you of your power when you forget it. You can't rise in isolation, but you also can't rise in chaos. Be intentional about who you allow in your atmosphere. Another key to rising again is gratitude. It may sound strange to be thankful when you've been broken, but gratitude changes everything. When you start focusing on what you still have instead of what you lost, your perspective shifts. You start to see blessings even in small things. The sunlight in the morning, the friend who checked on you, the strength to try again. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it gives it purpose. It reminds you that even in the darkness, there's still light to be found. Rising again also means walking with faith. You may not know what's ahead, but you trust that it's worth it. You believe that all the pain, confusion, and setbacks are leading you to something better. Faith gives you the courage to move even when the path isn't clear. It gives you hope when logic says there's none. Faith reminds you that you come too far to give up now. That if life broke you, it's because it's preparing you for a greater version of yourself. When you rise again, don't try to go back to who you were before the pain. You're not supposed to. That version of you no longer exists, and that's a good thing. The new you is stronger, wiser, and more aware. The new you knows how to handle storms. The new you has scars, but those scars tell a story of survival, resilience, and growth. Don't hide them. And with pride, they are proof that you didn't just survive. You transformed. The beauty of rising again is that your story becomes someone else's survival guide. When people see your strength, it gives them hope. When they see you smiling again after all you've been through, it reminds them that healing is possible. You become living proof that no matter how bad it gets, it can get better. That's why your rise matters. Not just for you, but for everyone who's watching, silently hoping that their time will come too. Rising again means reclaiming your power. You take back everything the pain tried to steal. Your confidence, your joy, your peace, your purpose. You stop living like a victim and start walking like a victor. You start speaking life instead of defeat. You stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I will. Every word, every action, every thought becomes a declaration that you're not done yet, that your story isn't over. So don't let your brokenness be your burial place. Let it be your birthplace. Let it be where your strength was born, where your faith deepened, where your purpose was discovered. Let it be the moment that changed everything. Not because it ended you, but because it awakens you. And when you finally rise, don't rush the process. Rise slowly, rise intentionally. Rise with gratitude and grace, because the higher you climb, the stronger your foundation must be. Every lesson, every scar, every tear you shed, it's all part of the foundation that will carry you into your next level. One day, you'll look back and realize that life breaking you was the best thing that ever happened to you, because it taught you how to rebuild yourself from nothing. It showed you that your worth was never tied to what you lost. It revealed that your power was never gone. It was just waiting for you to remember it. So yes, life will break you, but it will also give you the strength to rise again. And when you rise this time, you'll rise with purpose. You'll rise with wisdom. You'll rise with a heart that's been through hell, but still chooses to love, still chooses to hope, and still chooses to believe. Because rising again isn't just about getting back up. It's about becoming someone who can never be broken the same way again. Pain is a teacher, not a punishment. Most people run from pain because they believe it's a signal that something is wrong, that life is unfair, or that they are cursed. But what if I told you that pain is not the enemy, that is actually one of the most powerful forces of transformation you will ever experience? You see, pain has a purpose. Pain speaks a language that comfort never will. It exposes what's weak in you, what's fragile, what's fake, and it demands that you grow beyond your limits. You can't become the person you're meant to be without being broken, challenged, or stretched. Every tear, every heartbreak, every failure, it's all part of the process of becoming something greater than you were before. Think about it. The people you admire the most, the ones who've achieved greatness, they didn't get there without pain. They've been through battles, betrayals, disappointments, and loss. But what separates them from the rest is that they didn't let pain stop them. They listened to it. They learned from it. Pain taught them what success never could. Comfort doesn't build character. Struggle does. Comfort doesn't reveal purpose, pain does. When life hurts, it's trying to awaken something inside of you. It's trying to shift your focus to remind you that there's more in you than what you're currently showing. When you're in pain, you have two choices. You can allow it to break you down, or you can let it build you up. You can sit in self-pity and ask, well, why is this happening to me? Or you can ask, what is this trying to teach me? That simple shift in mindset is the difference between those who stay stuck and those who rise stronger. Pain teaches you humility. It teaches you patience. It teaches you gratitude. It strips away your pride and your illusions and forces you to confront the truth about yourself. Pain shows you your weaknesses so that you can turn them into strengths. You will never know how strong you are until strength is your only option. Pain will take you to that place where you have no choice but to fight, to push, to believe, even when everything in you wants to quit. It's in those moments that growth happens. It's in those moments that the old version of you dies and the new, more powerful version of you is born. Pain refines you. Just like fire purifies gold, pain purifies your soul. It burns away what's unnecessary. It removes the ego, the fear, the doubt, and what's left is pure strength and purpose. Sometimes pain is the only thing that can move you forward. There are times in life when you get too comfortable, too satisfied, too settled. You stop dreaming, you stop growing, you stop fighting. And that's when pain shows up. Not to destroy you, but to remind you that you're capable of more. It shakes you, it wakes you, it breaks you just enough to rebuild you stronger. You may not understand it while you're going through it, but one day, when you look back, you'll see that it all made sense. The rejection that broke your heart taught you to depend on yourself. The failure that embarrassed you taught you resilience. The loss that crushed you taught you gratitude. Every painful experience is a piece of your growth story. You have to learn to embrace the process. Don't fight the lessons that pain is trying to teach you. Instead, lean into them. Ask yourself, oh, what is this moment trying to make me? Maybe it's teaching you to be more disciplined, more focused, more patient, so more compassionate. Pain refines your character. It's the universe's way of saying, well, you're ready for your next level. But to reach that level, you must shed the parts of yourself that can't survive there. Growth always demands loss of comfort, loss of old habits, loss of ego. Pain is that transitional space between who you were and who you're becoming. There are some lessons you can't learn through comfort. You can't understand strength if you've never been weak. You can't appreciate joy if you've never known sorrow. You can't value peace if you've never lived through chaos. Pain creates contrast. It gives meaning to the good time. It teaches you empathy. When you've been broken, you learn how to see others with softer eyes. You become more understanding, more patient, more human. Pain doesn't just build strength, it builds depth. It makes you wiser, more grounded, more aware of life's fragility and beauty. When you're in the middle of pain, it feels endless. It feels like it will never stop. But pain is temporary. It's a visitor, not a resident. Its purpose is to push you toward transformation, not to stay forever. The question is, will you allow it to transform you or will you resist it? Because resistance only multiplies pain. Acceptance, on the other hand, allows healing. When you stop asking, why me? And start saying, I thank you for the lesson, you begin to grow. You begin to rise. You begin to see pain as part of your preparation, not your punishment. Don't be afraid of pain. Don't hide from it. Don't numb it. Face it, feel it, learn from it. Pain is proof that you're still alive, still capable of change, still fighting for something meaningful. The greatest mistake you can make is to avoid pain at all costs, because in doing so, you also avoid growth. If you never risk heartbreak, you'll never know love. If you never face failure, you'll never know success. If you never experience loss, you'll never appreciate what you have. Pain is not the end. It's the beginning of wisdom, strength, and purpose. You have to change your relationship with pain. Stop treating it like an enemy and start treating it like a mentor. It's not there to hurt you. It's there to help you see what needs to change. Every challenge you face is an invitation to evolve. When you're rejected, it's not because you're unworthy. It's because that path wasn't meant for your purpose. When you fail, it's not because you're a loser. It's because you're being redirected toward a better opportunity. When people walk away, it's not because you're not enough. It's because your next chapter requires your solitude. Pain clears the path for purpose. Remember, you are not your pain. Pain is what happens to you, but growth is what you do with it. You can let it define you or refine you. You can let it harden your heart or open it. You can let it make you bitter or make you bitter. The choice is always yours. Every painful experience carries within it the seed of transformation, but only if you're willing to learn from it. If you bury it, ignore it, or run from it, you'll repeat it. But if you face it, feel it, and understand it, you'll rise above it. Pain has a purpose far beyond what you can see right now. It's shaping your destiny, building your story, and preparing you for something greater. You may not see the full picture today, but one day you'll look back and realize that the pain you hated most was the pain that helped you grow the most. The moments that broke you were the same moments that built you. So when pain comes, don't ask for it to go away immediately. Ask for wisdom to understand what it's trying to teach you. Ask for strength to grow through it. Ask for courage to stay the course. Because on the other side of that pain is power. On the other side of that heartbreak is healing. On the other side of that loss is legacy. Pain is not your punishment. It's your preparation. It's life molding you, shaping you, and building you into the person you were meant to be. So the next time you find yourself broken, hurting, or defeated, remind yourself, this is not the end. This is the lesson. This is the teacher. And if you can learn from it, you'll rise from it, stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than ever before. When it's all said and done, when the pain has done its work and the storm finally settles, you will realize something powerful, that every single struggle you went through was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to develop you. All the sleepless nights, the heartbreak, the failure, the moments where you thought you couldn't keep going, they were part of your becoming. Pain was never sent to punish you. It was sent to prepare you for a greater version of yourself. The world told you that pain is something to avoid, but now you know the truth. Pain is a bridge. It's the path between who you were and who you were meant to be. You see, the problem isn't that life hurts. The problem is that we don't understand the purpose of the hurt. We think pain means something is wrong with us, but in reality, pain means something right is happening within us. It means growth is taking place. Just like muscles tear before they grow stronger, your spirit must break before it can expand. You can't expect transformation without friction. Every great change in your life will be uncomfortable. Every leap will require you to let go of something. And sometimes that something will be a version of yourself you once loved, but can no longer afford to be. When life breaks you, you learn that your power was never in your control. It was in your faith. It was never knowing what's coming next, but in trusting that whatever comes, you'll survive it. Pain teaches you to trust the process even when you can't trace it. It forces you to believe that there's meaning even in the mess, that something beautiful can be built out of what broke you. And that's when you discover resilience, not the fake kind where you pretend to be okay, but the real kind where you acknowledge the pain and still decide to move forward anyway. There's something sacred about those moments when you're on your knees, when life has stripped everything away and you're left with nothing but your will to rise. That's when you find yourself. That's when you meet the raw, real, unfiltered version of you, the one that doesn't need validation, approval, or applause. Pain introduces you to your power. It takes away the noise, the distractions, and the false identities you built until only your truth remains. You may not realize it yet, but pain is one of life's greatest gifts. Teaches you empathy, because when you've been hurt, you understand others who are hurting. It teaches you humility, because when you've fallen, you stop judging those who are still down. It teaches you gratitude, because when you've lost, you finally appreciate what remains. Pain gives depth to your joy. It gives weight to your victories. It gives purpose to your peace. Without it, life would be shallow. You wouldn't understand the true value of happiness without knowing sorrow. You wouldn't know the power of light if you never walked through darkness. Pain also reveals who's really with you. When you're broken, you'll see who stands beside you and who disappeared. Pain exposes fake support and highlights real love. It helps you clear your circle, refine your relationships, and recognize who deserves a place in your future. But more importantly, pain teaches you how to be your own hero. It reminds you that at the end of the day, the person responsible for your healing is you. You can't depend on others to save you when life gets hard. You have to save yourself, not by pretending the pain doesn't exist, but by finding purpose through it. Every scar you carry tells a story of survival. You didn't just go through the fire, you came out refined. Every tear was an investment in your growth. Every setback was a setup for strength. Every no, every closed door, every disappointment was life's way of redirecting you toward your destiny. Sometimes you have to be broken to be blessed. Sometimes you have to lose what you love to find what you deserve. Sometimes the very thing that hurt you the most will become the reason you rise the highest. So stop seeing pain as a sign that you failed. Start seeing it as evidence that you're still fighting. The fact that you're still here means you're stronger than everything that tried to destroy you. You made it through things that could have ended you, and that means there's something extraordinary about you. Life breaks everyone at some point, but not everyone decides to rebuild. That's what separates survivors from victims, the choice to rise again. And I know sometimes the pain feels endless. It feels like you'll never smile again, like you'll never find peace, like you'll never be whole. But hear me, pain is not permanent. Healing takes time, but it does come. The storm won't last forever. The night won't last forever. The tears won't last forever. Everything you're going through right now is temporary. One day, you'll look back and realize that what you thought was breaking you was actually built. What you thought was the end was actually the beginning of something new. You have to start seeing yourself as the creator of your story, not the victim of your pain. Pain may have written a few chapters, but you hold the pen now. You get to decide what comes next. You can choose to let the past define you, or you can choose to let it refine you. You can carry the weight of what broke you, or you can use it as fuel to climb higher. The same fire that burns would also forge your steel. It all depends on what you're made of. And I believe you're made of something unbreakable. You are not the mistakes you've made. You are not the people who left you. You are not the things that didn't work out. You are not your past. You are the lessons you learned, the strength you built, the courage you found, and the faith you held on to when everything else fell apart. That's who you are. That's who pain was trying to show you all along. Pain is not your enemy, it's your awakening. It's life's way of saying, well, you're ready for more. But before you step into that next level, you have to be refined. You have to be molded. You have to be tested. Because if you can't handle pressure, you can't handle power. And pain is preparation for power. Every great leader, every great dreamer, every great achiever has been through seasons of pain. The difference is that they didn't give up. They learned, they adapted, they grew. They realized that on the other side of pain is greatness. So don't run from what's hard. Don't hide from what hurts. Lean into it. Let it teach you. Let it stretch you. Let it transform you. Because one day you'll meet someone who's going through the same pain you once endured, and you'll be able to say, I've been there. I survived that, and you will too. That's how pain turns into purpose. When you use what broke you to help others heal, you were never meant to live an easy life. You were meant to live a meaningful one. And meaning always comes with struggle. You can't have the glory without the grind. You can't have the crown without the cross. But when you finally make it through, when you finally rise above it all, you'll realize it was worth it. Because the version of you that emerges after pain, that version is unstoppable. That version is wise, groundless and wise, grounded, fearless, and full of fire. That version can't be shaken by little things anymore because you faced the big ones and survived. So as this chapter closes, remember this. Pain is not your punishment. It's your preparation. It's not there to break you. It's there to build you. You are not weak because you feel pain. You are human. You are not lost because you're hurting. You are being redirected. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being remade. Trust that what's happening now is shaping you for something far greater than you can imagine. The next time life breaks you, don't fall apart. Fall forward. Fall into growth. Fall into faith. Fall into the understanding that everything you're facing is necessary for your evolution. The pain will pass, but the strength you gain will stay forever. And when you finally stand tall again, when you finally rise, you'll look back at everything that tried to destroy you and say, I thank you. Because without it, you wouldn't have become who you are now. Strong, wise, fearless, and unshakable. So keep going, keep growing, keep trusting the process. Because even when life breaks you, it's not breaking you down. It's breaking you open. It's creating space for light to enter, for strength to grow, and for purpose to be born. And that, my friend, is where true greatness begins.